Hi, my name is Matt Miller. I am a philosophy PhD student here at Florida State University, and I think a huge element of being a better man is looking after your health and fitness, because you better know that no one else is looking out for your well-being except for you. You can't trust the government these days. You can't trust the corporations. You can't trust the mainstream media. You can only trust yourself. So in today's day and age, a real man needs to take personal responsibility for his own physical health and well-being. So that means being very curious and very skeptical of what you hear. It means doing the research and doing self-experimentation with different types of workouts, diets, and things like that. This is very important. So another thing, the importance of diet, is so many people these days can't even get through a morning without energy crashes and cravings, and basically our appetites are so out of whack because we keep such crappy diets that we can't even get through an hour and a half long class without needing a snack. This is not very manly behavior at all. Men are supposed to be very adaptable and flexible, and we're supposed to be able to get through things without being disrupted, like in those Snickers commercials where you turn into the drama queen until you have your candy bar. This is ridiculous. We are men here. Seriously, we should not be having to take naps because we didn't have our snack or whatever. This is ridiculous. We need to get our health in order. And our fitness levels, I mean, come on. We have guys in the gym who are the pinnacle of manliness, sitting there in front of the mirror doing bicep curls and nonsense like this. That's not manly stuff. Men can lift big weights, do powerful, heavy movements. We should be doing really badass stuff in the woods and in the gym, but so many guys are just in the gym doing their glory muscles and looking in the mirror and checking out their six-pack. This is not acceptable. We men need to take a step up in our fitness endeavors. This is really important stuff. So that's all I have to say about it today. Thank you for listening.
Wait.
Yeah, you have a question?
Yeah. Can I ask you a couple of questions?
Sure thing.
Okay, my first question is, what types of exercises do you do, generally speaking, or what's the best way to build strength?
Best way to build strength?
Is strength the most important thing in fitness?
I would say general fitness, strength, endurance, flexibility, just having a strong joints to prevent injury. So it's more, I think of health and fitness as resilience. So resilience to a long day without having a meal, resilience to playing a tough sport without being injured, things like that. So to build strength, what's most effective when you're lifting heavier weights and you're doing full body movements that engage all of your muscles or multiple muscle groups at once. Because what this does is it sends signals throughout your body. It stimulates your neurotransmitters and your hormones to say, okay, we need to build some muscle and increase strength and burn fat. Because when you're doing something like a power clean or Olympic weightlifting or all these kind of crazy explosive movements or doing hard sprints on a field, you're sending your body a message. And what your body is saying, holy crap, what are we being put through, and what do we need to do to be better next time? So let's say sprints. More powerful muscles, less fat because you can go quicker if you're carrying around less things, and just increased power. So you're sending that signal. But when you're sitting there doing these in the mirror, that's really freaking easy to do. So all you're doing is you might be stimulating these muscles here, but you're not sending your body much of a message. You're not sending your body a message to say, hey, adapt. So you want to do, just think about it. Say, how would my body adapt to this sort of movement? And when you're doing these isolation things in the gym, there's not much adaptation that needs to take place in order to do better in the future. But with sprints and other kinds of powerful, explosive, full body movements is the opposite case. You're going to send your body a signal that says, wow, we need to do some some upkeep, we need to burn some fat, build some muscle, build some strength and power. So that is what I would recommend. You know, all the other kind of stuff, like you can do that if you want to work on, you know, looking and having the biceps and the six-pack, that's great and all, but like that's not going to get you true fitness.
Yeah.
So your ultimate goal is being super fit.
Super fit. I want to be able to do anything. I want to be able to do an Ironman triathlon without sacrificing my deadlift strength. You know, so I want to have all of those elements. I don't want to be a specialist. I don't want to focus on any one sort of thing, and I guess that's kind of why I'm all over the place. So I think like true fitness is like kind of a jack of all trades where you can adapt to a lot of things. If you need to run down your food, you know, like you have the endurance. If you need to lift heavy things and build a house, you know, like you need to be doing all of these things, you know.
And what specifically, do you have a very specific diet that you follow right now?
I follow pretty much what is close to a paleo diet. It's an unfortunate term because it kind of has all this caveman baggage with it, but really a better way to think of it is an anti-inflammatory diet. And so what you're doing is you're cutting out foods that your body does not recognize. So when you put things in your body that your body does not recognize, it thinks it's an intruder. So it mounts an inflammatory response. And that's how people get all these allergic reactions. And there's so many problems that people in our day and age have on a daily basis, like poor skin, they have poor energy levels, they're not sleeping well, mood fluctuations. A lot of these are not, people accept these as normal, like, oh yeah, I just have bad skin, or I just, you know, don't have, they accept these as normal. But it's not normal, it's because there are these things in their diet and their lifestyle that are causing these problems, but people don't realize it because people aren't cutting these nasty things from their diet and realizing how great they can feel if they just make a few changes. So my diet, what I try to cut out is grains, processed sugars. You know, basically if you look at the ingredients list and if you see things that you don't recognize, you should not be eating it because your body probably doesn't recognize it either. Your body's not going to know what to do with it when you put it in there. So I try to stick to a lot of clean meats. Typical meal really for me is like a huge plate of veggies, lots of colors, and with some meat, eggs, fat on top.
Would you say that every time you eat some type of grain, anytime you eat some type of like bread, it's automatic, your body's getting inflammatory response? It's default?
You know, there's a lot of people talk about it as kind of a bell curve. You know, there's some people who have, you know, serious allergies and celiac disease where if they have a little breadcrumb, it's bad news. Other people, they can eat, you know, bread and pasta and all day long and they might really not show any effects. So I'm not saying that everyone's health is going to go to crap if they start eating pasta or bread or anything like that. But I think most people who don't notice any terrible effects from eating these things, if they cut it out for like a month, most people will realize, holy crap, I just feel better, I have more energy, I'm sleeping better, and just all these things. So it's not so much that for everyone it's you know, bad for you or it's really detrimental to like your day-to-day life, but it's preventing you from kind of reaching like this really high level of vitality and well-being that most people just don't know is possible. And then I would worry, I'm not sure that I see such terrible effects when I have a little bit of something here and there, but I would worry about if it was just a regular occurring thing. I think these effects can compound over your life, and there might be long-term effects that maybe don't show up as obviously in the short term.
You guys have any questions?
I guess my final question would be, you said you're a Ph.D. in philosophy?
Yes.
Does your studies inform your lifestyle at all?
I'm not quite sure. You want to rephrase that?
Like, do you take anything from your study of philosophy? What are you studying specifically?
Oh, okay. Well, my philosophy, what I study in philosophy is not super related to my kind of fitness and health. But I would say that my approach to health and fitness influences my approach to studying. For example, you know, I occasionally fast, where I go through periods where I actually don't eat, and I have trained my metabolism to be able to handle that. I go through periods where I don't have a lot of carbohydrates. I'm not saying that everyone needs to adopt these sorts of eating habits and everyone needs to eat low carb. I'm not saying that at all. But what I have found is that on a lower carb diet and when you're fasting, once you become adapted to that, once you get used to having low carbs, once you get used to fasting on occasion, you notice cognitive benefits when you are in a fasted state, or when you are in when you don't have when you haven't been eating a lot of carbs. So what I find is that if I need to do a lot of very focused work, I won't eat. You know, I might have coffee with like some coconut oil in it in the morning, and that's it. And that might last me all day, and I can be very focused without, you know, losing energy or crashing or anything like that. And so I do. I tailor my eating patterns and my exercise patterns to maximize my productivity and focus on my studies.
Cool.
Anything else?
I have one more question.
Sure.
What do you think about, you drink bulletproof coffee, right?
I do bulletproof coffee for everyone. It is basically coffee with grass-fed butter and coconut oil, or MCT oil. MCT oil is a type of fat that is in coconut oil, and you put in your coffee in the morning and you blend it up, and it's very delicious.
What I was going to ask you is, that sounded like a commercial, actually.
I'm not, you know, I almost wore my bulletproof t-shirt, actually.
I was going to ask you, like, do you really feel the difference between drinking a bulletproof coffee bean compared to drinking, say, Starbucks?
Oh, you mean the beans itself? I don't drink the bulletproof brand beans of coffee.
Oh, okay.
I drink the bulletproof style. I'd call it fatty coffee, or I just say I drink coffee with coconut oil. I actually don't put butter in it as much anymore. I usually just stick with straight coconut oil in my coffee.
Just because of the fast, or what?
I don't know. I was playing around with just cutting out dairy completely lately, just as kind of like some self-experimentation.
Nice.
But I did have the bulletproof beans at one point. I didn't really notice any difference. You know, that might be like an individual variation kind of thing too.
Okay, gotcha.
So, anything else?
That's
All right.
good.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.